So let's move on and talk a little bit about an internal NRA memo. This memo lists supposed national organizations with anti-gun policies. Well, it's really kind of interesting when you look at this. This is the enemies list that the NRA has developed. Lots of organizations and people's names on it. We just highlighted a few here. The American Association of Retired Persons is on their enemies list. You've got to be kidding me. Hallmark cards. Now, I had to look long and hard to find out why Hallmark cards would be on the enemies list for the National Rifle Association. And I guess 20 years ago, they contributed to an initiative to try and prevent a mandatory conceal and carry in a state. And that put them on the enemies list. The YWCA, the Young Women's Christian Association, the Anti-Defamation League, and many other Jewish organizations, I might add, the League of Women Voters, the organization promoting all of the smart voting that goes on in this country, all the opportunities for all of us to be able to access our legislators. And then the American Federation of Teachers and the National Education Association. These people, these organizations can't all be wrong. But the NRA has put them on their enemies list. Let me give you some other names that you might find kind of interesting. These are celebrities now, not organizations, but they include the likes of actress Lauren Bacall, Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett is on their enemies list. Is this taking us back to the McCarthy era? Sean Connery is on the enemies list. Michael Douglas, Billy Crystal, Kathy Lee Giffords, Leonard Nimoy, Mary Tyler Moore, John McEnroe, Barry Manilow. Now, come on. In this country, we would create a list, an organization would create a list of enemies because they support gun violence prevention. Mr. Speaker, I'm dumbfounded by what goes on here from time to time. I'm particularly dumbfounded by the inability of this Congress and this House to stand up to the NRA leadership and stand up for America. I'm going to close, Mr. Speaker, by memorializing two people in California that died yesterday. Two Santa Cruz police officers in the line of duty, doing their jobs, going to a home to determine whether or not there had been some domestic altercation. Elizabeth Butler was a 10-year veteran of the Santa Cruz Police Department. Lauren Baker, known as Butch, was a 28-year veteran of the Santa Cruz Police Department. It's a small town. It's a comfortable town. It's a loving town. It's an easygoing town. There are only 90 officers on their police force. They have never had a shooting death of a police officer in the history of that city. But yesterday, they lost two of them by a man who had body armor on, loaded down with guns, who had been convicted in Oregon of a sex offense of sorts, and who had a gun and did not have a concealed permit. Comes down to California with his gun, shouldn't have had a gun, because at that point he was an ex-felon, shoots two Santa Cruz police officers. Between them, they have 5 children. Let's do it for the children of this country. Let's do it for law enforcement of this country. Let's do it for all of us so that we can go to the mall and we can go to church and we can go to school and not be in fear of being mowed down by violence.